Good day, everyone. I'm meteorologist Chris Mulcahy along with Larry Sprinkle. We have an active tornado warning. So this just popped up a few minutes ago. 9:45. This is going to extend for right here at Alexander, Catawba, and Iredell County are all going to be impacted. So directly you can see in line, it's going to be around the Claremont area that's going to be most impacted by this as it rolls a little bit further off towards the north. So bringing up some new information on this. We're in an active environment that we're seeing a lot of twists to the atmosphere. And so that's exactly what we're seeing. So this tornado warning was located 5 miles east of Newton or 4 miles southwest of Catawba. It's moving north at 25 miles per hour. So let's bring up our live velocity scope. You can see why the National Weather Service pinged this one. If you live right near Catawba, likely you're probably seeing a rotating cloud cover really down towards the southwest. So Claremont directly, this is about to cross Interstate 40. It looks like the rotation was a little bit tighter here at that point. So check it out. This is about 9:13. So really, it was right around Bandy, Killian's Crossroads that we saw this earlier this morning, really starting to pick up some broader rotation, but it was officially warned once it get a little bit tighter just south of Highway 10. So actively right now for the most recent scan, things are trending that it's not as tight, but oftentimes these can come back in the cloud and they start to recirculate. This is also a testimony of really what we're going to continue to see going forward for today and the better part of the overnight as well. That really, I would say from today, I would say until about noon tomorrow, you're going to have a chance for any one of these showers, thunderstorms to spin up into something like this. So again, it looks like right around Claremont, Catawba, Murray's Mill, that's where we're seeing the direct circulation. Now, these radar scans can take up to 2-3 minutes to really pick up on the velocity. So anyone right around Oxford Park looks over to St. Stephen's, I would really say to try to get into your safe place because this is a very strong storm, likely a quick spin up that we're seeing associated with this. So as we mentioned, it's moving off towards the north. I would say more the north-northwest at around 25 miles per hour. So looking at the center of circulation, let's put it up right about here. Over the next 23 minutes, Claremont's pretty much directly over you. You live around Catfish, Oxford Park. You're seeing that about 9:41 to 9:44. And the good news is it's starting to get a little bit further away from some of the more populated areas as we go forward. But you can see a lot of heavy rain also coming with this. The sad thing about this is it's a rain wrap tornado if this is the case. So it's really tough to see because you're looking at rain rates really over about a 1/4 inch per hour. We're seeing some that are probably getting up to around the range of, let's see, yeah, close to about 1 inch per hour. So if there is indeed a tornado on the ground, which it looks like the velocity scope is trending in a better direction, you are expecting not really to be able to see it in front of you. So again, we have an active tornado warning goes until 9:45. So we've got 14 minutes of this. Looking at some other parameters here, let's try to bring up some of our paths. This is the Charlotte velocity scope. You can see right around there, still south that they're picking up on it. The good news is, again, I want to show you what it was like. Whenever you have the bright greens, that's where you see a little bit more significant. So I think it was right here that we were seeing the tightest rotation within this, and you can actually bring up some wind speeds. So this is called gate-to-gate shear, so you can see the difference of what these winds are. Let me see, you're seeing anywhere from, yeah, so this would be fairly weak if this was indeed a tornado. We're not really seeing a lot on here, so maybe lower end 65 mile per hour ends. That's still enough to do some damage. And we also have Larry Sprinkle here with me. So Larry, as we've seen before, one of the biggest weapons that we have with these tropical systems is the chance for a spin-up tornado, but I think this is really just the beginning of what we could see going forward.
No doubt about that. In fact, if we can go to our traffic computer, we'll talk about the situation as we're looking at right now with this tornado warning effect. Take action. If you're in that area, best thing to do is go to the lowest level of your home. A basement is the place to go. If you have a basement, go to a basement or an interior room. A bathroom would be good. Stay away from windows. Just some things to think about in this situation. Tornado safety, your safe place is where you should go now in those areas with a tornado warning. Go to the lowest level of your home. Move to an interior room with no windows. You want to go into safer places. I would say that if you have plans to travel or move away at the moment, I would stay where you are because of this imminent danger of the situation we're looking at with that tornado warning in effect. Once again, this tornado warning was issued a little while ago. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was about 5 miles east of Newton, about 4 miles southwest of Catawba, and the system was moving northwest and north about 25 miles an hour. If you're in Claremont, that is a danger zone. Claremont, the town of Catawba, Lookout Shoals Lake, that would be around 9:40 this morning. Other areas nearby would be Bandy's Crossroads, Scotts, and Oxford, all those smaller communities. Take cover now. Stay home if you can. Go to your safe place. Once again, we're looking at the radar situation and looking at any major signature there. It's starting to lose a little bit of its identity, but still, this is a severe thunderstorm, which you can also look at with the potential for having winds over 60, 70 miles an hour, Chris.
Yeah, and we're looking at some of the winds. The thing with these spin-up tornadoes, it's really, I want you to keep the mindset that even though we have an active tornado warning right now, the way that this velocity scope is showing is it's actually come back up in the cloud. And I've been rewinding this. You see it right there, that bright green. So this just spun up. When it was this wide, you see how wide this is. Here, I'll bring up our measuring tool. Whenever it's this wide across, 5 to 6 miles, that's called broad rotation. Once you get down to a little bit tighter, as we're seeing here, this is really where you have the tighter rotation. It kind of comes in. It's almost think of like a toilet bowl. You have all of that water that comes in and quickly starts to rotate. That's exactly what happens here in essence. So you notice over the last few hours that it kind of dissipated. Now, we're still looking at that broad rotation, so this is still going to be a cell that we're actively watching. Tornado warning goes on for another 11 minutes, but I am letting you know that saying that get out of your safe place, but right now we're really looking at this thing to recirculate. So it's really right around Claremont. So Catfish will bring up our tool again, showing you where this is headed over the next 30 minutes. I still think this, as Larry mentioned, it's still a strong thunderstorm within this. So some gusty winds are still going to be up to 40 miles per hour. We have saturated soil, so I wouldn't be surprised if some older trees are coming down. We have Sunrise Beach, we live around there. That's 944, Oxford Park 948, and then 1002 Millersville, and I'm happy to say this is also a less populated area. Hey, it only just still takes one just in general. Still looks like the forward speed is anywhere from about 25 miles per hour, but we are also picking up, sometimes that moving speed will show some of the peak winds. So right now I think it's below that EF0 criteria. That's about 65 to 85 miles per hour. Now we're seeing about that 56 points. So let's see what else is going on here. See if we have any other rotation across the area, because oftentimes you see one of these and another one starts to pop up. So let's actually take a little bit closer look. I think really anyone that is living in North Carolina, especially, I would really say from Charlotte off towards the north, you got to be watchful, because we're actually looking at a sign of rotation right down here. You notice that this one kind of came up, so this is really between Stanley and Huntersville, so not disregarding what we just had, but you notice if I slow this down, what just happened with this previous one, that over in Lincoln County, we're kind of seeing what we're seeing a little bit closer to Charlotte, and then it started to tighten up and then dissipated. We're seeing kind of a similarity right here, not going to guarantee it, but everything within this line is still going to have that potential. Also, we're looking for any notches that are going on here. You also can see right here around Statesville, not as much of a signature. So, Larry, as we mentioned, the good news is that we're starting to really see signs that this isn't actively on the ground. Not saying that it's going to come back up, but that's my message to you. These are going to be spin-up tornadoes that literally could last anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes, and sometimes the warning comes after it. And I think it was like right around the time that the warning dropped, it might have been coming back up into the clouds. But I think this is a testament that we're going to see a lot more of these today.
I think so. You're right about that, Chris. If we could go back to the other computer, we'll show you the bigger radar picture just to indicate it's not only where this warning is, but there's a lot of severe weather threat just about anywhere you go. And during this whole system, the big storms today and tomorrow, we're going to see the potential for a lot of severe weather. And you can see the extent of all the rain and storms. So we're dealing not only with this severe thunderstorm possibly producing a tornado, but the effects from the hurricane starting to be felt south of here. But right now, this is an entirely different weather system that's providing enough rain that we're seeing flood watches and flood warnings across the entire area. So we're dealing with severe thunderstorms and this tornado threat, because because of the tornado warning, we're looking at a number of different impacts. The high wind's going to be a major issue today with this tornado. Also, we're going to see winds gusting today, probably anywhere from about 25 to 35 miles an hour, and rain rates could be as much as an inch an hour, Chris. So we're dealing with a lot of different impacts, a lot of different issues. The tornado warning, the amount of rain that we've seen west of here, we've already seen over towards the Asheville area anywhere from about 5 to 7 inches of rain.
And we've talked so much about the flash flooding and the wind reports, but tornadoes are going to be a hidden danger here. We don't even have Helene at our doorstep. Helene hasn't even made landfall, but there is so much wind shear that's twisted the atmosphere ahead of this system that we had a tornado warning yesterday. There was actually, looks like 2 potential tornadoes that dropped in the mountains. But looking at our tornado parameter, I'm letting you know at this hour, we're only seeing around a 0.1. Any number shows that you could potentially see a tornado. This is why I really want you to know, because I think that active tornado warning, it is not actually on the ground. Once I see a little bit tighter circulation, we'll go back to that. But I want to show you what happens a little bit later on. It's through the afternoon they're going to keep that threat alive. As I mentioned, any number means that you're going to have a favorable environment for a spin-up tornado. Here's the alarming thing. Once Helene gets a little bit closer, you're talking about prime wind shear. Here's 4 a.m. Here's 8 a.m. So not only are we expected to see this today on and off through this evening, but I think that we have our highest chance for seeing more of these by tomorrow morning. So that's why we're telling you to be weather aware for not just the flooding, that's mainly off towards the west that we're seeing that situation, but the Charlotte area, you could have some gustier winds, but really everyone within this map is going to have potential for what we're seeing right here. All right, so going back to what we were talking about, tornado warning that goes until 9:45. We've got 6 minutes left of this. The good news is, we had mentioned, we have seen some vast improvements, but doesn't mean that we're done. Whenever you're seeing a difference here on the radar, you're seeing anywhere from a green to a red. If we can blast back over to, there it is, you can see right there, that is the rotation. I think this is too broad, not actively here on the ground, but I think that you are going to see another chance for this to redevelop. So this right now, we are talking about the actual rotation here in Catawba County. Next stop is going to be here in Alexander County. That's where the warning is going to end. So I want everyone who's going to be in line with this, and here we'll start where we're seeing the prime circulation for the time being, bringing up that tool. I think anyone, and I'll extend it way up here over the next hour. I think that if you're in Taylorsville, you're going to have the peak of the storm over you here in about 20 to 25 minutes. Little River about 10:10, Boomer about 10:32, and then up into Wilkesboro, just outside of our area, about 10:43. Oftentimes you have these storms that pop up a tornado warning, but then even if it's not warned, we're going to still watch this very closely with you. We'll try to stream online as we follow these type of systems. We're going to see quick spin-ups that last only about 1 to 2 minutes. Larry, you knowing the area a little bit better, what exactly do you really see as far as landmarks right in this area? Because now it looks like it's north of Conover, Catawba, that we're seeing kind of the prime of this system evolve. So like right about here, just east of Highway 16, are we kind of looking at least heading into the area that there's less population?
Well, I would say that you're not looking at a high population here, but it's well traveled, and a lot of people this time of day are on the roads. I would say if you're at home right now and have travel plans in those areas, stay home, because it is a dangerous situation. Not only is there a tornado warning, but this is a severe thunderstorm. So we're going to get high winds, heavy rain, in addition to what's going on with that tornado. If you live anywhere up towards the Little River area, up towards Eisenhower Park and Taylorsville, now we get into Alexander County around the Taylorsville area up Highway 16. That's a highly populated area. There are mobile home parks, mobile home areas within that. If you live in a mobile home and you are within this tornado warning, if there's a safer place to go, that's what you should do. If you have someone who has a home nearby, then that's exactly what you should do. Mobile homes, very dangerous situation. If you are in a car, getting ready to get in your car, please stay inside, go back inside. This is a dangerous situation. We've got a few more minutes for this to under a warning, but it could be expanded. But in addition to that, the amount of rain and the severe thunderstorm threat is another issue, another impact, Chris.
Yeah, and I actually want to alert people in southern Alexander County, if you're watching us live right around Eisenhower Park, you can't see it on our terminal velocity. So as we had mentioned, there was the one that we were following around Catfish. fish. Earlier, we saw the brighter green. I'm going to backtrack just because this is significant, because we're going to see if this new cell is going to do that. Once you have that brighter green, that's showing much stronger winds, and then the difference between the reds and the green is showing rotation. Well, you're noticing a new one that just popped up over the last couple of minutes just south of Eisenhower Park. That is expanding. So we're going to be watching this closely, and we'll continue online. That if this starts to get a little bit brighter green, that is going to show that. So I think that anyone in here, I'll bring up our tool again. We're not seeing a lot of towns in this area, which is good. Over the next 11 minutes, Millersville, I think that you need to take cover. It's really over the next 6 minutes. I think you could have a rotating storm, gusty winds at least up to 40 to 50 miles per hour for the time being. And the other one popping up there is Eisenhower Park. As we mentioned, it looks like now the center of this rotation for the storm is moving directly into the southern part of Alexander County for the time being. We're not seeing any other reports associated with this. We have officially 2 minutes left of this tornado warning. We'll see if they expand it. I think that there's not enough evidence to necessarily issue a new one. There was a much better tell when they first issued this about 15 minutes ago. So things are at least trending in that better direction. But I also want to show you some of the tornado parameters we're going to be looking at. We actually have a low to a medium threat for tornadoes, not just today, but also tomorrow. So keep this in mind that right now, this is Thursday's forecast. We actually had a higher threat down in Charlotte, and that's some of those values that I was showing for the significant tornado parameter. Well, the areas of yellow, you can't disregard this. We've already had an active tornado warning, and I would not be surprised if southern and central Catawba County will have some tornado damage from this, and it happened just like that. These events happen so quickly, and I think this is going to be really the first of many that we're going to continue to see. And yeah, Larry, I think that the things are trending in a better direction, but still, I think that we need to watch this very closely, the way things are starting to adjust.
At this particular time, I mean, this could be expanded, but I think it is losing some of its intensity. But don't let that fool you, because this is a strong storm with a lot of heavy rain. So we're looking at the storm activity, the heavy rain causing issues in that area. And as Chris was saying, this is just the beginning of the potential for several, not only several hours, but another 24-hour period where we're going to see the potential for strong storms spawning tornadoes, spin-up tornadoes. They can be short-lived, but all it takes is one of those in a particular area could cause a lot of damage and even a threat to life.
Yeah, and there you're seeing the entirety of the tornado warning. Looking at it officially 9:45, it is gone. So I want everyone to download our WCNC Charlotte app. That's where you're going to have the most updated information. Also going to have our live radar app that's going to help keep you out of the storm. So thank you so much. We're going to keep you updated online, on air throughout the day, tonight and tomorrow. Please be safe, everyone. Stay weather aware. We're now returning to the Today Show.